All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. 4 reviews up this week. Indeed, no impressions, which is always a good thing for the flow. Anyway, first game up this week is Flick Shot Rogues. Plan, aim, shoot. Flick Shot Rogues blends the tactile satisfaction of flicking stuff across the table with the strategic depth of your favorite turn-based roguelikes. Chain together ridiculous combos, unlock characters, items, and skills to conquer the island. I'm like, so it is definitely a game that provides what it says on the tin here.
If it's
You are
supposed to have the
definitely
tactile thing of flicking, it really sounds like it wants to be a touchscreen game.
You would think that, but having played through the entire campaign,
Oh yeah, looking
uh,
at the mechanics, it doesn't, but it sounds like it would.
yeah, it reminds me of a game of this nature that was born on mobile devices, but eventually did, it got a installment on like the Wii U and the 3DS, and that's the Squids franchise. Um,
Hmm.
In fact, I think you can get Squid's Odyssey, the game that appeared on the Wii U and 3DS, because it used this flicking mechanic there, just a bit differently. Because you're dealing with squids, and here you're dealing with, for lack of a better term, like clockwork figures of some sort. Because you know. You look at this and you might think it would operate like a rubber band, just flick and shoot. It's more elaborate than that. Like, which kind of also gives away that this was developed for the PC first instead of mobile devices. Because I guarantee you, if it was developed for touchscreens, it would have absolutely have been flick and shoot. But no, it's you rev it up and then it locks into place. That's the key there. Because you make sure everything's in order, then you shoot. I know it doesn't seem like a big difference, but it means you can plan your shots a lot more than if you were just flicking and shooting. Like, you don't have to worry to keep it in place. Like, you don't have to hold a button down while you're strategizing. You can just have it at the level you want it to, or adjust it. And adjustments isn't just in terms of the angle, but also the speed. Like moving like the stick, for lack of a better term, up and down will change the force applied. Um, to a certain extent, there is a maximum amount of kinetic energy that you can generate in a given turn. Also worth noting, um, chaos theory does apply here as well. So that you can plan to a certain extent, and then you're just kind of at the mercy of, well, a lot of factors depending on what you put on your characters. Like, to wit, during my run, I had a ability that would attract the closest enemy to my figure in order to do contact damage. And that changed a lot of stuff in a given turn, let me tell you. And that was just um, one thing. In Grand Roguelike tradition, you will be able to get various power-ups, um, and also the occasional curse, should you stick around for a certain event. Um, the curse I got was the first time I did damage. Um, wouldn't harm the enemy, but like would cause more damage the second turn. You know, curses like that. And in the beginning, you start with two characters here: the like the rogue, and I want to say the berserker. You know, the pirate guy. Like both of them have special powers, and the other characters that you unlock have special powers. Like you know, your starters here. The like the face of this game, for lack of a better term, like that's the figure that's on the Steam box thing. The Chiron. They can cause figures to catch fire, and after every round ends, does fire damage. While the Viking Berserker guy has access to bombs, which will explode after a 2 turns have passed. You know, things like that. Not sure if the other characters have other quirks. I honestly didn't get to try them out because, surprisingly, this game allows you to, it saves after every encounter. So I was able to end a turn before my run ended. And in predictable fashion, the game gets much more difficult as it goes along. Though I think the biggest resistance point was the penultimate boss. The final boss, not so difficult. You know, difficult, but nowhere near that. The second to last boss. Dear God, that, you know, the problem there is that second to last boss had 3 phases as opposed to, you know, most encounters have 1 to 2 waves, as they call them. That one had 3. That was too much. And with that all being said, it all works well enough. Like, it's kind of hard to evaluate because, once again, it delivers on what it promises. But if you're not into this specific brand of roguishness, you're probably not going to get a lot out of it. Maybe not like we're hurting for roguelikes these days. Everything is a fucking roguelike. To it, both my games this week were roguelikes. I know that this isn't the first time I've gone on about this, and you know, fair enough. This game has rogue in the very title, but it's still, the roguelike formula is just out of control on the indie scene.
Again.
Yeah. I will give credit to both of my titles for sticking to the roguelike formula a bit more than others, in that everything here is turn-based as well. You know, once again, if this game were like built for mobile devices, it'd probably be real time. Once again, but it's not. Like, everything moves in a turn, and like traditional turn-based rules at that. It's not you move, everything else moves. You move, then the enemies will move a piece at a time. You know, think more of a JRPG in terms of turns, which is rather uncommon for a roguelike. I know it's going to come up again in my other game, but that's actually much more of a JRPG.
Like most roguelikes usually have more enemies at once.
Oh, this game can get a lot of enemies. Like, remember, this is like the beginning rounds, so it's not going to be too ball-bustingly difficult. Like, once you get
to... do the arenas get like multiple screens big?
They don't ever get that big. They only stay one single screen. That may be a maths thing. Like, the developers didn't want to have to take into account multiple rooms in terms of the angles here.
I see. Then that limitation is also probably part of.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like in other roguelikes that are proper dungeon crawlers, if every enemy went one at a time when you're on a huge dungeon floor, it would suck to wait for.
Oh, yeah. But once again, we're not dealing with traditional rogue games here. We are dealing with games that are very, very well away
Right.
from rogue, but still applying like the basic formula that we see on the indie circuit. Like I said, that being said, it's all very eminently playable. You don't really have to be a math whiz to play the game. Because, and once again, elementary chaos theory is once you get past the second angle, you're probably not going to be able to predict the exactness. Hell, that's what goes on with the helpers here. Like, it stops after a certain point. So it also keeps things from getting too stale, I think. And as far as the aesthetics go, they're pretty top notch. Like, just not a lot to say about them. It all works rather well. Maybe I could have done with a bit less of a cartoony aesthetic to sell the figurines, but whatever. Now, perhaps the biggest caveat here is the pricing, because Flickshot Rogues clocks in at $15, with the OST version clocking in at $18. Like, it's a good game, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it has the staying power for, a fully priced regular indie title. Like, this feels like it should have been $10 at most. So, unless you're really into calculating angles and geometry and stuff like that, I'd say wait for a sale. Otherwise, this is a perfectly fine game to buy. What about you guys? Petty, you've been playing the game. Anything to add here?
Not really. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, this is like the hardest kind of game to talk about outside of its particular set of mechanics, because, it's not amazing. It's not particularly innovative. It's just, it does everything well.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing beyond that. What about you, Golix? Anything you wish to further add to the conversation?
Not really. I think I jumped in with the stuff that I had.
Okay, then. All right, then.
Did we go over price? I think I missed that.
I just did.
Okay, yeah, I was engrossed by the game. Sorry.
Like I said, it's a fine game. I just don't think it's $15 fine. I think it's more $10 fine.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there is a pretty sizable amount in the demo.
Yeah.
So I guess definitely give the demo a look and see if you'd be willing to put down 15 on it. Because the demo is free. I don't know if there's like any sort of like limited time on the demo. But seeing how it wasn't released during like a Next Fest, I don't think there should be.
Still, you can try before you buy.
Yeah.
Which is the important part, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, that'll about do it for Flickshot Rogues here. Be sure to tune in after the break as Petty Fan reviews Duck, Dangerous Ultimate Cartridge Kidnapper.